Hey, y'all, welcome back to Citizen Podcast. I'm Brad Allen.
I'm Mary Lane Sloan.
And today we've got Clark McCarthy and John Dando with Crawlspace Medic. They are dear friends of ours. They've been in business with us a very long time. And we're going to talk about your dirty crawl space and all cool things of Columbia. All right, so this is just literally a conversation. Like, yeah, we've got questions, but we're probably not going to ask them, to be honest with you. So
why would we?
Yeah.
Why would we?
I
studied that all last night.
Oh, they sent them to you ahead of time?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Steely got us prepared.
Oh, in that case, what is your answer to? No, but like, I mean, most y'all are from Columbia-ish, right? Did y'all both grow up here, or is this y'all transplants like I am?
I grew up here, so born and raised, grew up in Forest Acres.
Yeah.
So I've been here all my life outside of, going to college in Greenwood at Lander University, but Columbia's home for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a transplant, but I've transplanted in 2000, so 25 years now into Columbia. So it feels like home.
Yes.
Got married here, raised my family, raising family here. It's home.
Yeah.
So does it aggravate y'all when people make fun of Columbia? Because it kind of gets. I've been here since like 2006, and they're like, we're like the sort of cool stepkid of the state. They're like, man, it's Columbia. It kind of pisses me off. I don't know.
Yeah, it is frustrating, I think, just because people look from the outside in. But I think Columbia is kind of that gem, just tucked away, and it's a great place to be. And especially now, I think you're seeing younger kids stay here after they graduate. You're seeing older folks that even retiring or wanting to stay here because you've just got everything and you're starting to see some development. I'd say we are a little behind in that area, but it's just, you're so close to everything. You've got everything you need here. You got lakes, rivers, the beach is right around the corner, the mountains.
You can get anywhere from here.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
All right. So not only do you like Columbia, but you actually decided to open a business like we did. Like, why?
Yeah, I do think one of the things that made me loyal to Columbia, and I say this to a lot of people, any young kid opening a business or anything, is we've built a big business in Columbia. Our local unit in Columbia is very successful, but out of Columbia, we've franchised Crawlspace Medic. We have 30 locations into Indianapolis, St. Louis, and we're going to continue to grow. And the headquarters is right here in little old Columbia.
Yeah.
And Columbia has birthed a lot of businesses like that.
Yeah.
And I do think it's a great seeding city for a small business. What you guys will launch, where it's got to go. There's no money.
Right.
There's a lot of people here. There's enough critical mass to like see if it works.
Yeah.
Before you try to go to Atlanta or Charlotte or Raleigh. And so that's one of the reasons I'll always be loyal to Columbia is I've launched this business here. Yeah. And it's just funny as we've grown talking to guys in big cities. I'm like, yeah, I'm sitting in Columbia, South Carolina in our headquarters. Right. And they're like, really?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. They're like, where's that?
Yeah.
Right in the middle of the
Right
state.
in the middle.
Yeah.
Is
Is
that
that near Charleston? Like, no, we're right in the middle of the state capital.
Yeah.
I think too, people here too are just genuine. You've got that Southern just politeness and things like that. And I think that makes Columbia unique as well. And especially in the small business world or the service industry, when we're working with people, I think that's why you see these small businesses and things like that take off here and flourish.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just the people. I mean, even with what we do, you'll be crawling out of a hot crawl space in the middle of July, and the guy's like, "Hey, you need a glass of sweet tea or water or whatever." It's just that's this a neighborly feel, and people here are just, I think, loyal to each other, and they want to see other people like that, local businesses succeed.
Yeah, I've definitely experienced that as well. It's not as cutthroat as you might experience in some bigger cities. Like there seems to be teamwork amongst the small business community, like Divine Night Out last night. Yeah. All those small businesses got together, and you could see them advertising each other's business and high-fiving each other. And everybody realizes when we all do well, we all do well.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think it's been interesting to watch a lot of small businesses or business owners. Like we don't have everything yet. So like it's a good place. Like there's still opportunities to open up franchises and things like that. That we're starting to get a lot of the national. We're getting most of them now, but all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, we didn't have an Orange Theory for the longest time. Like somebody can come in and take advantage of that situation. And I don't know why that one popped in my mind, but stuff like that. Well, I don't go there obviously, so I don't know why I said Orange Theory.
And this is anecdotal, but my kids I've got a kid going to college next year, and a lot of him and his friends want to go to Carolina. And they're just kind of like, why would we leave Columbia?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I mean, they're going to live on campus and do the college thing, but they want to stay in Columbia and go to Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of neat to see too.
Sure.
Where maybe that wasn't the case before, or they'd go to Carolina and then leave. They're kind of like, why would I leave Columbia? It's great here. Yeah.
Speaking of the question about the business front, we're seeing a lot of people obviously moving from, out west, up north, all that stuff, but like they're bringing their businesses too, like their small business, small manufacturing or small consulting or whatnot. Like, what do y'all find to be one of the best things about having a small business? Like even you can talk about City of Columbia itself or whatever, but like, is it that good of a place to start a business? Like, would you bring your business here if you were them or?
Yeah, 100%. I do think to some of the things you've already mentioned, Columbia, people want Columbia to win. I think you'll meet a lot of people here who move here, transplant like you and I did, Brad, and never leave.
Yeah.
I'm not leaving this place. It's great.
It's too expensive to leave this.
Yeah.
It's like a divorce. Might as well here.
Yeah.
I mean,
we're stuck. We're stuck together. So there's a lot of that, I would call it continuity. And then there's a lot of opportunity, to your point, where there's a lot of services and businesses that haven't been brought into Columbia that can succeed really fast. It doesn't take a lot of time to gain traction.
Yeah.
When we launch a crawl space in a market like I would call Columbia, Augusta, Columbus, Georgia, we just launched last year. That's not quite as big as Columbia, similar. It's very different than when you launch in, I would say, an NFL market,
right,
where it costs a lot more. It's harder to gain traction. Now, the upside potential is maybe a lot bigger because there's 3 million people.
Sure.
But the front end piece in a city like Columbia, on the front end of starting a business, is cost less money. You can meet people faster and gain traction a lot faster.
Yeah.
In my experience.
Yeah. No. I think what's really interesting about y'all's business is people just think it's expensive. Like Crawlspace stuff, just stupid expensive no matter what. But like Clark hit on, like people don't realize how much health of a house, like not just like the house being healthy, but the people because of the crawl space, and how many people don't go in their damn crawl spaces to even see. Like, I just find it interesting because y'all come out and you're like, we got issues, but like also your kid's got asthma. This is maybe why he's not feeling well. Like, what are some things that y'all have seen in the past that have really kind of helped people with or they might be going on now and they're like, hey, I think somebody come check this thing out.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is just the education side, because people don't know, and it's out of sight, it's out of mind, and most people probably don't even know what a crawl space is until there's a home inspection or something. And especially with these people moving from different states, they're like, why is this here? And it's, they're designed to house HVAC and plumbing and electrical, and they're like, well,
where's the basement?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Where's the slab or where's the basement? But you're getting to educate them on, yes, the health side of it, because it's all scientific stuff. It's proven, up to 60% of your home's air comes from down there. And this is what fungal growth can do. And this is what moisture and humidity can do. This is what termites can do. And if you allow us to come in and install a solution, like, you're creating a healthy space. Yeah. Right. And don't wait till the check engine light comes on. It's just like a car, right? Yeah. And you run that thing into the ground, and now, a $45 oil change turns into a $3,000 engine replacement. Yeah. And it's the same with the home's foundation. And when you get to go in and present these things and show them the pictures and videos and walk them through and what this means, their eyes light up and they're like, whoa, I had no idea.
Right.
You know, and being from an education background like Mary Lane, it's like, I love that side of it, and answering questions of, well, why would you do this versus this? Or, why, can we do this versus this? And you just get to walk through it. Again, it's, for me, it's a neighbor, it's a friend. Right. You're helping you guys on a real estate transaction. That's where the fun comes in.
Yeah.
I think, and y'all have probably seen this, 10, 11 years ago, when I was knocking on the door saying, hey, we're new, we'd like to do some It's the old 100 word
Yeah,
for you
yeah.
guys. Oh, we got a guy.
Uh-huh.
But I think the industry's grown dramatically. I would say the awareness
Right.
of, hey, your crawl space or basement,
Yeah.
needs to be dry and clean.
Mhm.
Home transaction, but the awareness across the consumer piece of homeowners has grown dramatically, which has been good for our business. But I think a lot of it is related to people realizing logically it does make sense that it's the stack effect. What's down there is
It's
coming
coming up.
upstairs.
Right.
It doesn't go down.
Right.
It comes up.
It comes up.
Yeah.
And that's really helped our business, but it's the health side. It's the protection of the equity in the home. Y'all see it all the time. Go to sell mom's house. Nothing's been on the crawl space.
Yeah.
I think you crawled one for Maryland
Uh-huh.
today. It's a desert. It's been neglected for 50 years, and now someone's going to have to pay for it.
Yeah.
So I think the education piece has for consumers, and obviously the internet's helped that. Knowledge, and that's been great for people's health in their homes, and in our business in terms of being able to service that for them.
All right. So,
What are the top 3 craziest things you've seen in a crawl space? Go. Yeah.
Man, I'd say my top one was a half-eaten goose. Like half-eaten goose.
Which half?
The bottom half, the neck and everything was still
there.
That's how you knew it was a goose.
there.
Okay.
And yes, because I mean, I sat there for a minute. I was like,
What is
and
that?
then I was like, what? And then two, like, what drug it in here? It was
And is it still here? Yeah.
munching on it.
Mhm.
And then for me, I'm not a critter like pest guy. You know, I've run into snakes. We obviously see them. Not a fan. And then I got pinned in between 2 basically HVAC trunk lines. It was very tight, and I crawled under it. And once I got in, there's a mama possum, like from me to you,
Oh, with her baby.
hissing,
Oh.
and I had nowhere to go.
So what did you do?
I started talking to it.
Oh.
So yeah, I'm like talking.
Possum
Yes.
whisperer.
What was that?
Yeah.
What was that conversation?
Yeah,
Just
so I'm like, hey,
Mama.
yeah, that's where I'm like, it's
Why can't
okay.
we be friends?
Let's be
I'm backing
friends.
out, and as I'm backing out, like crawling under this duct, I'm talking to it. It's like, it's okay, I'm moving. And as I'm crawling out of this crawl space as fast as I can, I'm still talking. I'm like, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
I'm leaving. But and then of course our guys, which our repair guys, are just incredible. I mean, they do, hard work.
They're doing the Lord's work in there.
And the first time I tell them, our production manager said, well, why didn't you just grab it by the back of the neck?
The possum?
Yeah. I said, what? He goes, yeah, it'll play dead.
It's on the other side of its teeth.
Yeah.
That's
And
why.
I was like, yeah, exactly. I'm like, the razor sharp teeth and the babies.
And, face level.
Yeah, face level. I know where to go. But that was, those were probably the 3.
The fun things you find in there, and we do have like an archive at
Yes,
the
I bet
office
you do.
of, I think we found some, what are the bush lights from like 1990?
Oh, yeah.
Unopened.
Unopened.
And put those bad boys on ice.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then cans, bottles, like these old Tonka. There's some of these old Tonka trucks from like the 70s.
We've got some of those in our shop.
That kind of stuff's neat. The worst thing that I can't stand is if this happens only once or twice, is when it gets hot. If there's been a dead animal in there that's got fleas, and like in Columbia, you get the first 80 degree and
and
all
out
the
they
fleas
come.
hatch. If you crawl in a crawl space and it's infested in fleas,
Yeah.
you're like within 5 seconds, you look down and you're
And
like
you're covered
in fleas.
Yeah.
That's the worst. I mean, I've seen all kinds of live animals, but the worst is if you get
fleas
fleas infested.
Fleas is not
That's
good.
happened to me twice.
Oh.
Just going in a house.
Yes.
I can't imagine the crawl
Well, you
space.
start. It's the
And then
same
you're
as
just
like
covered.
the house and the carpet, but
Yeah.
it's like you're
Oh,
in.
you're in it.
Yes, in it.
When it comes to crawl space health, like what are some things you'd recommend the average homeowner just do to stay on top of it? Like, is there services and programs like people come out, you can come out and check it once a quarter and do that stuff, or like they just need to get their ass under there and look
'Cause
around?
I
Or
think a lot of people do like service. They think service contracts for their heating and air.
Yeah.
If they're
We do sell service contracts.
Okay.
We come out, certain amount of times a year and check everything
Yeah.
out.
Mhm.
I think, ideally, like you just said, Brad, they should get under there
Yeah.
and look around.
No way.
No one's
Jose.
doing that. No one's doing that,
Yeah.
which is good for our
Right,
business.
yeah.
Like
Yeah,
in
yeah.
general, people are like, I'm not doing that.
No.
I think the biggest thing I tell people is at minimum, everyone needs a good, I'll say this is the gospel of crawl space work. You need a good vapor barrier
Okay.
that's properly installed.
Explain that. 'Cause I mean, I know. Mary Lane doesn't know what that is.
A 10 mil, I would say a minimum 10 mil.
Okay.
And
Thick plastic.
thick
Mhm.
plastic, so it lasts
Yep.
20. Those things will last 25 years.
Yep.
That it is properly installed, meaning it's cleaned out first. It covers 100% of the dirt,
Mhm.
and its seams are taped and it's spiked in place. So when guys crawling to work on the electrical, plumbing, they're not tearing it all apart. That is the base of having a healthy crawl space.
And why? Like what? I mean, what's the reasoning?
Water vapors.
Talk to me like I'm a Yankee moving down here. They don't
Yeah.
know
Okay.
this.
So like, if
No
you
offense,
have-
Yankees.
We're a subtropical climate.
Yes.
Yeah, subtropical climate. If you have
weird.
dirt showing,
Right.
or just a dirt crawl space, even if it looks dry, all those water vapors are evaporating up into your subfloor.
Yeah.
If you, what I tell customers, if you took a piece of plastic garbage bag,
Yep.
laid it on that dirt, they're like,
Mhm.
it's dry.
Mhm.
Like
Yep.
lay a plastic piece
Yeah.
of dirt over the dirt in the morning, come pull it back, it'll be completely wet.
Yeah.
And so if you can keep those water vapors in the dirt, that's what a barrier.
Sure.
Mhm.
That is the base for having a healthy crawl space. You might have to do some other things,
Mhm.
but that is the one thing, the biggest bang for your buck on having a healthy crawl space.
So that's typically the step one when we have crawl
Yeah.
space with high moisture content.
Correct.
You like do this first, which makes
Do this
sense.
first.
And people can do it themselves.
Correct.
Well,
Yeah.
If you're not going to your crawl space, you're not going to want to do this.
Mm-mm.
I made my kids do it on a house once. My wife got pulled. We were renovating a house. I was like, kids, I'll pay you.
Brad has 2 daughters, by the way.
Yeah.
Girls.
And you know what ended up happening? My brother and I are upstairs working on the house, and then all of a sudden my wife's in there because my kids are complaining too damn much. So one kid's sitting down, and my wife's the one actually doing it. And I still have not paid that debt fully, and I don't think I ever will.
No.
But
Some of my personal friends, I won't name them, are, have money, but they're still cheap.
Uh-huh.
Like, I'll just do this myself. Call you back. They're like, dude, this is going to take me 12 Saturdays.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like in our guys, they do it fast. It's like, we do it in one day
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
and it's done and it's right.
right,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is a funny thing.
Uh-huh.
And people can do it. It's
Well, yeah.
not
sure.
complicated.
hmm
It's just
They
hard.
just
It's
gotta-
hard work.
The first step is getting in the crawl space.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
No, thank you.
So what I really appreciate about y'all is you don't always just go, you got to encapsulate it. So
Right. Yeah.
can y'all just do a little bit of explanation on the difference between vapor barrier encapsulation and what would call for each? Because I think some companies
Yeah.
just go, oh,
Yeah.
you have a piece of wood in there, encapsulate it because it's a big ticket item.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the one thing that separates us is we're solutions based, right? And there's multiple solutions that you can put in place to help somebody. Sometimes there's really no option, right? If you've got water intrusion that's just really bad, like you need a drain and a pump.
Yeah.
And the one thing I love hearing is like, well, it only happens when it rains.
Uh-huh.
And
We're
I'm like,
subtropical climate.
yeah, and I'm
It
like,
rains a
well,
lot.
that's like me saying my roof leaks, but only when it rains. It's like, no. So, but yeah, so we'll go in and we're going to get readings and pictures and videos. And I think it just takes the knowledge and the expertise that we have to, once we get out, we're really sitting down. Like last night, I was working on one for Mary Lane at like 8, just trying to really figure
Ruin
out.
his home life.
I'm sorry.
No, and that's what we love doing, because I'm like, all right, Mary Lane needs a solution for this person, and how can I do this as best we can and as in a cost effective way that we can, right?
Yeah.
The barrier and everything down there was terrible,
Mhm.
right? I could have called that, but it was like, hey, we need these specific things taken care of.
Right.
So I'm going to go in and take care of these specific things. But I think when it comes to moisture control, we'll tell people, and I'll give them options, and I'll say, hey, this is like the most basic thing. I would 100%, this is the starter pack.
Mhm.
You need this. Based on what I saw today, I would highly recommend this just because of what I know, where we live.
And what's coming.
And what's coming,
Yeah.
right? And it's wintertime, wood
Mhm.
moisture's lower, humidity's lower. I'm like, well, it's also 40 degrees
Mhm.
outside.
Mhm.
When it hits May, June, July, it's going to ramp up. So I would recommend a dehumidifier, or what we call a modified encapsulation, right? And that's where we'll cover the soil, we'll seal the vents, and we'll put in a dehumidifier.
Mhm.
And I'd say Crawlspace Medic was probably the trendsetter on that.
Yeah.
We had y'all do that in our office building in Greenville.
Yeah, and
Rick
we're
remembers
starting to see more companies. I've actually seen CL100 reports and different things say recommend modified end cap,
Mhm.
because before that, everyone was saying you're crazy.
If
You have
you're-
to wrap the walls and the piers, and
Yeah.
you're like,
Not to get over technical,
Yeah, do
but
it.
if you crawl, like my house over in Forest Acres is a ranch, you crawl in at grade.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
none of the crawl space is underground.
Right.
Mhm.
So there's no moisture wicking from the
Yeah.
ground into now. There's no moisture wicking through the walls,
Right.
because it's not underground.
Yeah.
Right. And so it might look pretty to wrap the walls,
Right.
Mhm.
but there's no net benefit for that $3,000 upcharge
Yeah.
to the homeowner, and we see that a lot. And so that's when we would a modified encapsulation. Now, if you're out at the lake and the front wall's built into the ground,
Yeah.
yeah,
you need to wrap that wall.
Like my house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't have to necessarily wrap these
yeah.
front walls that are above grade. So we have from day one, and we do this in all our markets. It's like you guys do. Every house you sell is different,
Mhm.
right? It's what is the solution to this house? And a lot of our competition, Brad, in Mary Lane, Clark knows this. They are what I call systems dealers. Think of like a car dealership, a Ford or Chevrolet. We sometimes have to explain this to our customers, and it's kind of fun. And they've bought a territory to sell
Sure.
a system,
Yep.
Mhm.
right? Just like Love Chevy, right? And the companies that
Hendrick.
sell them, the companies that sell them these systems make money manufacturing those
Right.
systems. And so they have to sell encapsulations, right? And so that's why a lot of times we get called out, and I have had customers ask me like, look, your brand's better. I like you better. The quote was better, inspection was better. Why are you guys $7,000 cheaper?
Yeah.
Well, let me talk to you for a second about that. And they understand it. You know, it's like, I'm not selling you a one size fits all
Right.
system. I'm selling you a solution.
Right.
So I think that's we see that in every market
Sure.
we're in across the country
Yeah.
that we're in here in Columbia as well. So, you know, the base, like I said, the base for encapsulation is the vapor barrier.
Mhm.
Right. So it's
And you
plastic on the ground all the way up.
Yeah,
Right.
and you can build off that base.
Right.
Right. Like, okay, we may need to do a modified encapsulate, may need to do a full encap,
Yeah.
but let's talk through it.
Yeah.
You know,
When is a full encapsulation like necessary? Like what would be just water and like standing water intrusion?
Yeah, I mean, it's what you see. Like you said, a lot of times you're going to see, you know, efflorescent staining on the walls, moisture wicking through the walls, you know, spalling or different things around the interior masonry piers where you know, hey, there's moisture
Right.
all over this
Yeah.
place, right? And that's when I'd say it's probably in your, you know, best interest that we go ahead and cover these things. And, you know, here's why. But even then, I'm like, hey, you could start here, right?
Mhm.
We can always come back and wrap them later if you don't, you know, if you don't think that's necessary. But I think the cool thing about Columbia and, you know, being here is because it is a smaller town, there's a trust factor there.
Mhm.
Yeah, you get to see these people at the baseball
Yeah.
game.
Yes.
After school.
And
That's the
100%.
difference.
That's
100%.
what
Yeah.
Yeah.
I stress to our guys all the time. I'm like, this isn't just another house or a
Right.
person. Like, these are our friends and neighbors. This is our community.
Yeah.
So we go and serve them well. And I tell people all the time, we're not infallible.
Mhm.
I'm not infallible. Like, we'll make mistakes, but, you know, people always ask, well, warranty. And I'm like, look, I'm not going anywhere.
Mhm.
I grew up here.
Mhm.
Like, I'm going to stand by what we do. And if we need to come address something, we're going to come address it. And I'm also not here to BS you,
right.
Mhm.
right? And I want to provide you a solution that I know is going to work
Yeah.
in your crawl space. And because I think in any service industry, there's a easy probably distrust there
Mhm.
when it comes to HVAC, plumbing.
Yeah.
because nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
An
Yeah.
HVAC guy could come out and tell me you need a brand new unit.
Right,
I
okay.
have no idea.
Yeah.
Right. The
Right.
capacitor is out. I'm like, what is it? That,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
All
Sounds
right,
good.
Give me a new one.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, is there a big difference between sandy soil and red clay, like the Irmo / Forest Acres
Yeah.
area?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
gosh.
Now we're
the answer.
talking
I
dirty.
knew the answer.
Dirt, baby.
Yeah. Clay soil's a lot different, and that, and every soil's different. And that even comes down to two of maybe what mill or what type of poly we're going to use. Right. And some soils are just very abrasive, rough. And I would say I'm going to probably recommend a woven reinforced here just because this, like, need it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Clay soil, same thing,
Yeah.
just because water sits on it. It doesn't dissipate as well. A lot of times clay soil too, where you are, there's probably some need of drains and pumps. Just
Yeah, so
it's-
in the clay soil, we're doing a lot more drains and pumps.
Right.
Like if it's sandy, you might have water intrusion, but it dissipates.
Which is hard for people to understand. Like, yeah, it's got in there, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. It's
Yeah.
like 48 hours, right? Like is the building code. As long as it goes away. In clay, if you have hard clay, that water's coming in and it's going to sit till it evaporates.
Yeah.
You know, it might be a week. And so clay soil, we're doing a lot more drains and pumps, which is a pain because it's harder to dig in clay than it is sand.
Yeah.
For sure.
But a lot more sandy soil holds a lot more moisture to dissipate up into the crawl space, evaporate, and so the dehumidifier, the encapsulation piece is more important in
Gotcha.
sandy soil.
If somebody doesn't go to the crawl space, that's fine. Are there any indicators they could walk around their house and see and be like, there might be something going on downstairs?
Yeah. Cupping, bowing, hardwood
Like
floors,
they coming up on the edges a little bit. It feels a
They
little more
start
ridgy all of a sudden.
sweating around, HVAC boots, the registers.
Get some like black moldy or black
Fungal
film.
growth.
Yeah,
Fungal growth.
We say that, yeah.
Don't use the M
Just
word.
because we don't test, Mary knows. She's seen plenty of my videos.
Fungal growth.
The odor, smells, structural stuff, they'll start to see dippiness, bouncies in the floor, maybe some cracks in the sheetrock, things like that. Those are probably the most common, the calls we'll get from maybe homeowners. But I think to John's point earlier, there's a bigger knowledge pool now, and people are recognizing that crawl space is important. I was sitting down with a guy the other day, and as I'm talking to him, he is putting it in Chat GPT
Yeah.
the whole time. The questions he's asking me, and because I said modified end cap, and he's like, never heard of that. I want to make sure it's, and it of course pulls up all this stuff, and he's asking
Don't
questions.
do Grok, just do chat.
I mean, so there's a lot of stuff out there, but those are probably, I'd say, the most common things people, and it's, and I'd say summertime, and you get HVAC guys in there, they're sweat this, or, you know, the insulation's falling down, it's stringy,
It's
tons of
soaking
fungal
wet.
growth, soaking wet, standing water. Those are usually other service professionals that are saying,
One comment, since you mentioned condensating or sweating ducts, that I think HVAC guys would appreciate, because we've become friends with a lot of them around town, is if your ducts are sweating in the middle of summer, it's not it's not your heating air guy's fault. Right? They can't. They don't fix that.
Yeah.
Actually, it means your system's working great. Go out. They're like, my ducts are sweating. My air guy came out and said, like, well, is it cold in your house? You happy? He's like, yeah, it's fine.
Shut up.
Yeah, right. It's like it's working,
Right.
but like, because it's working so well, you have a condensation problem that needs to be fixed by us, which is dehumidifying the air down there with a modified end cap or an end cap.
Yeah.
You do that. So yeah.
So what time of year, or what time of year would it be best for them, like, to do a service agreement with you, like to come out? Is it like the beginning of spring? Is it now? Is it?
yeah. So anytime and especially if we're putting mechanical systems in, we have what we call an annual maintenance plan, and it's every 6 to 12 months. We'll tell them, hey, just get in touch with us.
Sure.
We'll come out, we'll check everything out, we'll get some readings. And even if there's not mechanical systems, and someone at that point can only afford a vapor barrier, which is fine, I'll say, hey, go buy a $20 hygrometer off of Amazon,
Right.
put a sensor down there, put the digital display in your house, and just monitor it. The winter time is probably going to be fine, but once we get May, June, July, if it's bumping up above 60, at that point, it's probably time for us to come and take a look, and we're probably dropping in a dehu. that point. So
I need to go buy one of those from my house.
yeah, yep. Thermo Pro. Yeah.
Look at it all the time.
Yeah. Oh, we've had people.
Yeah, just watch it.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Well, we'll obviously in the show notes we'll have all your contact information, but also on our app,
Uh-huh.
we got a real estate app. You can
Yeah.
download it. We've
Yeah.
got
Yeah, we've got
We're all
it.
there.
you're a
They put
sponsor
up-
of it, so thanks for.
They put up Crawlspace ads all the time.
Yeah.
We do push notifications, but that'll help remind me too of when to send some targeted push notifications to our people, so that way they know to get it checked out. Okay, so last couple questions.
Okay.
Somebody comes to you from out of state, out of town, and they're like, "Where should I? Like, what are the best places in Columbia? Like, what were? I know we all live literally within a stone's throw of everybody, but like, what are your go-to spots? Because you see all over Columbia, you see all over the Midlands. Like, what do you love about it, other than where you live, maybe, or maybe that's the spot.
Man, I think that's the cool part about Columbia that we probably failed to mention earlier is you can go to Forest Acres, older, established, tall pines, restaurant, shopping. You can go to Divine Street, completely different.
Right.
Probably a little more upscale, bougie shopping. And that you can go to Cottontown, older, historic neighborhood, and you got
Clark
yeah.
is the 5 points.
yeah, you've got places
Yes,
like the
yes.
Warmouth right there, and you go to Rosewood, a little more artsy. I mean, there's just so many different pockets, and I would say almost maybe like culture
Mhm.
shifts, and just the homes in general, which is just
Right.
so cool about Columbia. You can drive 10 minutes across a road, and you're in like a whole different area. But I mean, I think
If your wife would let you move somewhere other than Forest Acres, where would you move?
ooh,
You got to choose somewhere.
Oh.
that's a good question. Oh man,
Lake Watery.
Oh, hey, I got a listing there for you. Mhm.
It's in your price point too.
Yeah, I do love the lake. I'd say I love Lake Catherine. That's a cool area, and just my kids' ages.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, there's just full of them
Mhm.
Yeah.
for bikes. So
Yeah,
I'd say
kids
that's probably in
everywhere.
my stage of life.
Yeah.
Where you'd go?
That's probably the place I'd go.
What I would tell people, one of the things we don't mention is you can live in Columbia and work, go to church, do youth sports, and almost never have to get on the interstate.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right?
She does not cross an interstate or a river.
That's not true.
And you see all your friends. I love I love Saludas.
Uh-huh.
Went that last night
I was
with
gonna
my
say you
wife.
were there last
Yeah,
Yeah.
favorite bar, like favorite cocktail bar in town, just to sit and then have
Yeah.
dinner.
Mhm.
I would take anyone to a Gamecock baseball game on a nice
Yep.
spring day.
Mhm.
Those things are probably the things that I'm like, this is special about Columbia.
Yeah.
Just some of these. I mean, that's a restaurant shout out that I just have
Yeah.
always loved.
Yeah,
those.
they're
Steve
great.
Cook's a great guy.
And being in an SEC town, like you said,
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
an energy there that's just. I mean, you go to a football game, take them there. I think there's some hidden gems too. Like no one ever talks about Sesqui.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
You go out to Sesqui and you just leave the city and
Yeah.
you're just in this peaceful walking trails. You can fish, kayak, or even the zoo. The zoo
I
is
love our
amazing.
zoo.
The last thing I'll say to this that I also think's a total unhidden gem. This is Evan Wilson. This is what we did when we were building this business. John boat off the Rosewood ramp into the river,
Yeah.
and it's like a whole. I mean, it's right in
Yeah.
town,
Yeah.
and you're in a whole different world.
World.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
For hours and
Yeah.
hours and hours. It's really cool. And you're like, I can't believe this is right in the city.
City. Yeah.
Those things, my neighbor, Rob Drummond, him and his sons, they're in John boats on that river nonstop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nonstop.
That's
It's
awesome.
cool. Yeah. Very cool.
It's life.
Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank y'all
Thanks.
so much.
Appreciate it.